Are you considering worm castings for your garden but feeling overwhelmed by all the options? You're not alone. While worm castings are often hailed as nature's perfect fertilizer, here's what many gardeners don't realize. Not all worm castings are created equal. Some can actually harm your plants, introduce pests, and set your garden back weeks or even months. Today, we're diving deep into the world of worm castings to help you separate the gold from the garbage. Worm castings, also known as vermicompost or worm manure, are the nutrient-rich excrement produced by earthworms as they digest organic matter. These dark, crumbly pellets have earned their reputation as black gold because they contain a perfect balance of nutrients, beneficial microorganisms, and soil conditioners that plants absolutely love. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that can burn roots or create nutrient imbalances, quality worm castings release nutrients slowly and improve soil structure over time. What makes worm castings so special is their ability to enhance soil in multiple ways simultaneously. They increase water retention in sandy soils while improving drainage in clay soils, create air pockets that roots need to breathe, and introduce beneficial bacteria and fungi that form symbiotic relationships with plant roots. The popularity of worm castings has exploded in recent years as more gardeners seek sustainable organic solutions for their plants. However, this growing demand has led to a surge in suppliers, and unfortunately, not all of them maintain the quality standards that make worm castings beneficial. Some rush their production process, use inappropriate feedstock, or fail to properly process their castings, resulting in products that can actually harm your garden. The most dangerous worm castings are those with a sour, ammonia-like, or putrid odor. This smell is your first warning sign that something has gone terribly wrong in the production process. Quality worm castings should have an earthy, forest floor smell that's pleasant and clean. When castings smell sour or like ammonia, it indicates anaerobic decomposition has occurred, meaning the organic matter rotted without oxygen instead of being properly processed by worms. These malodorous castings can introduce harmful bacteria to your soil, create pH imbalances that stress plants, and even burn delicate root systems. I've seen gardeners lose entire seedling trays because they used poor quality castings that were essentially toxic to young plants. The anaerobic conditions that create these smells also destroy many of the beneficial microorganisms that make worm castings so valuable in the first place. Another major red flag is castings that appear too wet, slimy, or have visible mold growth. While some moisture is normal, castings should be crumbly and well drained. Excessively wet castings often indicate poor processing, inadequate aging, or contamination issues. These products can introduce fungal diseases to your soil and create waterlogged conditions that suffocate plant roots. Castings that contain visible food scraps, especially meat, fish, dairy, or oily materials, should be avoided at all costs. These materials don't belong in worm bins and, honestly, their presence indicates either poor feedstock management or incomplete processing. Such castings can attract rodents, flies, and other pests to your garden while creating unpleasant odors and potentially introducing pathogens. When evaluating worm castings, sourcing becomes absolutely critical. Reputable suppliers will be transparent about their production methods, feedstock sources, and quality control measures. They should be able to tell you exactly what their worms are fed, how long the castings are aged, and what steps they take to ensure consistency and safety. Look for suppliers who maintain proper documentation and can provide information about their worm species, feeding schedules, and processing techniques. Quality producers often use a specific mix of organic materials like vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and paper products while avoiding problematic materials like citrus peels, spicy foods, meat, and dairy that can create acidic conditions or attract pests. Freshness indicators are crucial, but, they're often misunderstood. While you want castings that haven't been sitting around indefinitely, you also don't want them too fresh. The best castings have actually been properly aged for several weeks after harvesting, which allows any remaining organic matter to fully decompose and the pH levels to stabilize. Fresh castings that haven't been aged can be too acidic and may continue decomposing in your soil, which could potentially create hotspots that burn plant roots. Certifications like OMRI, that's the Organic Materials Review Institute listed, or USDA, organic, provide additional assurance that the castings meet specific standards for organic production. These certifications require regular testing and adherence to strict guidelines about feedstock, processing methods, and contamination prevention. Quality worm castings should look like dark, rich coffee grounds with a uniform, crumbly texture. They should feel slightly moist but not wet, and should crumble easily between your fingers without leaving a slimy residue. The color should be consistently dark brown to black, without visible food particles or foreign materials mixed in. When you're shopping for worm castings, it's a good idea to ask suppliers about their screening process. Quality producers will screen their castings to remove any unprocessed materials, cocoons, or debris, which is pretty important for getting a clean product. They should also be able to provide you with basic information about the nutrient content and pH levels. Most quality worm castings have a pH between 6.0 and 7.0, which honestly is just about ideal for most plants. You should also consider the packaging and storage conditions too. Castings really ought to be stored in breathable containers that allow air circulation while preventing moisture loss. Plastic bags that are completely sealed can, unfortunately, create anaerobic conditions even in good castings, so it's best to look for suppliers who use proper packaging methods. Local sources often provide the best value and freshness, but don't assume local automatically means better. If you can, visit local suppliers to see their operation firsthand. A clean, well-organized facility with healthy-looking worm bins and proper composting areas is definitely a good sign. And honestly, you should avoid suppliers with smelly, disorganized operations, or those who can't answer basic questions about their process. For storage at home, keep your worm castings in a cool, dry place with some air circulation. They can be stored for several months if kept properly, but using them within a few weeks of purchase ensures maximum beneficial microbial activity. The key to success with worm castings lies in understanding that, honestly, quality trumps quantity every single time. A small amount of high-quality castings will provide far better results than a large quantity of poor-quality material. Don't be swayed by rock-bottom prices or claims that just seem too good to be true, as these often indicate shortcuts in production that compromise quality. It's important to research your suppliers thoroughly and, really, don't hesitate to ask detailed questions about their process. Legitimate producers are usually happy to share information about their methods and will stand behind their product with guarantees or return policies. Be particularly wary of suppliers who make exaggerated claims about their castings' abilities or who just can't provide basic information about their production methods. Remember that worm castings are a soil amendment, not a complete fertilizer replacement. While they provide excellent slow-release nutrition and soil conditioning, they work best as part of a comprehensive soil health strategy that may include other organic amendments, proper watering practices, and appropriate plant selection for your growing conditions. The investment in quality worm castings pays dividends in healthier plants, improved soil structure, and reduced need for other fertilizers and soil amendments. By avoiding the problematic types we've discussed and focusing on quality indicators, you'll be setting your garden up for long-term success. Your garden deserves the best, and now you have the knowledge to make informed decisions about worm castings that will truly benefit your plants. Take the time to source quality materials, and your garden will reward you with vigorous growth, improved soil health, and the satisfaction of knowing you're working with nature's own perfect fertilizer. If this guide helped you navigate the world of worm castings, don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more in-depth gardening wisdom and share this video with fellow gardeners who might be struggling with the same questions. Together, we can all grow smarter, healthier gardens.